everyone to the Outtakes Movie Podcast. I'm Sam, and we're still going on our quest to go through every single movie ever made and objectively rank them best to worst of all time. I'm joined, as always, by my amazing team. Amelia, how's things?
Hello.
Joe, what's going on, man? Still in your chair?
Alright, still in my chair. I've not moved at all since we last did it. I've just been given my clothes and I've changed them in the chair. I've been given my food in the chair.
Like a senile old man.
I was about to say.
There's a microwave right just on camera that I've been eating.
What
making
about,
my food
like,
with.
pooping?
Into the microwave.
Into the microwave.
Don't want to know about
those,
that.
You know those Play-Doh machines you used to have as a kid where you used to like put like a
Oh no.
shape
Uh-oh.
Like
is that what it's like on the bottom of all that like
Mate, yeah. I'm going to get one of those off Amazon
tree
later.
shapes?
You give me a good idea, yeah.
Oof. And Jacob, how's things?
I'm here as well. I'm the appropriate one. Yeah.
Nice. So, we are continuing on our Ghibli season with Castle in the Sky, which was released August 2nd, 1986. And before we talk about the movie, I'm going to take us back in time to the 80s, man. It's the first time we're talking about the 80s since we've done this segment. That's exciting,
Lovely.
right? Everyone says that the 80s are the best time for music, for example, right? So I've gone to the top 40, August 2nd, and there's a lot of big names here, right? But not many songs that have stood the test of time, okay? So
Okay.
I've got 4 here, right? And I just want any of you to let me know if you have any knowledge of what these fucking songs are. Okay, so coming in at number 2 was Madonna with Papa Don't Reach.
Papa, don't reach. I've been.
I know that one.
So we got one across the
I know that
board.
one.
Just me, who is uncultured. Number 4, Rod Stewart, Every Beat in My Heart.
Okay, no, not sure.
Oh, I know that one. I do, but I don't know how it goes. I recognise the name.
No.
Do you reckon?
I know Rod Stewart. Don't know the
Yeah,
song.
yeah. Handbags and glad rags I could have given you, but that wasn't it. Number 8, UB40, Sing Your Own Song.
Nope.
Ha.
Nah.
Wait, no, is that like a re-singing of the one from Lost? It's like, and they redid it recently for that advert, that car advert. So you gotta make your own kind of music. Sing
Paloma
your own yeah, no, but she was singing. It was a song from the 60s. And
Well, this
she
is
was
from the
singing it again.
80s.
Well, that's what I mean. Did they do it in the 80s as
Whoa.
well? It was also in Lost.
Sing Your Own
Oh, well,
Song literally
maybe.
just means copyright doesn't exist on this. So, you know,
Oh, maybe,
just
yeah.
keep doing
I'm gonna
it.
say the fact that kind of ironic that they're re-singing "Make Your Own Kind of Music" of all the songs to like cover.
And number 15, Spandau Ballet, Fight for Ourselves.
I don't know that one.
Nah, you know what I mean? The only 3 songs in the actual top 40 that I'm like, all right, that's a big name and a song that has stood the test of time. Only 3, bear in mind, and were in the 80s, the so-called golden age of everything that was ever good, was Bananarama, Venus, which is somewhat tainted by just being like a shaver commercial, and that's all it's ever going to be known for from now on.
Yeah.
An actual good song, number 24, Lionel Richie, Dancing on the Ceiling.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Good song.
That
What
is a
a
good
song.
song. And number 40, just scraping in, Doctor and the Medics with Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, wow.
what?
Okay.
Yeah, only just. And the thing that sort of I found baffling, it was either like 46 or 48, right? So like wouldn't even qualify. That's why I've not written it down. Was Queen, Friends Will Be Friends. It's like, Queen, 46.
Mad.
Maybe it started high and then like
86
over the
though.
weeks trickled down to like
Like
46.
86 though.
I would have to imagine
They
it
would have
would
only
done.
just started like coming. You know what I mean? They would have done Queen. They would have done the Band-Aid thing like a year before. So they would have been a bit popular again then. But maybe it's starting to trickle away at this point.
Maybe. You got a point.
Yeah.
And just before we go into the movie, I want to talk about video games. It's 1986, and you know what? It's like the best year for video games like ever, right? Classics are coming out. Legit. It's not like last week where I'm going to pull the rug underneath you, where I'm going to say all the good stuff and then there was nothing this week, right? Because like Castlevania was coming out this year, Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, all sorts of really good stuff, right? And 4 days after Castle in the Sky came out, Metroid, the original Metroid game, was released. on August 6th, and I think that is pretty rad. And because there's a bit of a phenomenon around it that I didn't experience at all, was anyone at all bothered either way when they found out Samus was a chick? Because I was just like, oh, fair dues.
I was like, I knew about it before I played the game. So
yeah,
it's that thing in it. But it's like, it was like a surprise.
I suppose when the graphics are literally 8-bit and the power suit reveals titties, it would be like a, whoa, didn't expect that in my Nintendo Entertainment System. But phenomenon doesn't really continue on into the modern day. But regardless, it's 1986, it's August 2nd, and in Japan, the very first of many releases were going to happen for Hayao Miyazaki's Castle in the Sky. Jacob, tell us all about this movie.
Yes, so originally I was thinking, we'll do a bit of background about Studio Ghibli, Wibbly Wobbly, but we won't, because Amelia did like all of it last week. So if you want to go listen to a bit about that, give last week's episode a listen.
Mm-hmm. I apologise in advance.
But my pronunciation's knocked me loads better. I was going to go back to your episode and re-listen to how you pronounce a lot of the things. Like the director's name. I know Sam literally just said it, but I already don't know how to say it.
Hayao Miyazaki. So, should we grab like sound clip from the Princess Mononoke episode and then we just have Amelia like Hayao Miyazaki, like just click play, you know?
And just repeatedly playing into the microphone.
Oh no, but you should have it on like Google Translate. Hayao Miyazaki. that would be handy.
But yeah, so this film's had a bit of a more interesting history than other just Western releases. So it's kind of a hard place to decide where I'm going to start. So the version I watched was the one on Netflix, and so I chose to watch it with dubs as well as the subtitles.
I
just
couldn't
try and
watch
again try and get the difference.
well.
And it's startling to see how much they've changed between just translating it and putting it underneath.
Because it's Disney, the one that's on Netflix,
over.
isn't it? It's the Disney one. Yeah,
It's the Disney dubs. So in this one we have James Van Der Beek, who plays Pazu, who is in Dawson's Creek. We've got...
He's also in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, playing himself.
Whoa.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he plays himself, and his whole character is he misses when he used to be on Dawson's Creek.
So he's only ever played one character, essentially. Yeah. Then we have Anna Paquin, I think I've got that right, who played... Now, her name sounds a lot like Cheeto, but I know it's like Cheetah.
Cheetah, yeah.
But she's called Cheeto now.
Nice.
Who when I saw a picture of her, I was like, I know that face. Why?
Yeah.
She plays Rogue in X-Men.
I did exactly the same thing of being like, what the fuck is... And do you know what? As soon as I realised it was Rogue, that explained the weird nowhere accent.
I thought she was Australian for a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's
from
New
Canada.
Zealand
No,
or something?
she's from Canada. Winnipeg.
I thought she was... I thought I read somewhere she was half Canadian, half Kiwi.
Hang on, I've literally got the IMDb page up right now.
Go for it.
So,
because I'm sure there was some Australian twangs in there.
where is it? Blah, 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 blah. It said it right away last time. We may never know.
Oh, well. Well, if you're intrigued yourself, you can always give it.
Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. She was born in Winnipeg, but her mum was from New Zealand, so she probably picked up a regional accent from
Some of the twang.
her mother. Yeah.
Fair enough. Another notable cast member that really bloody surprised me. Mark Hamill's in this.
Yes, he is.
Is he? See, I didn't.
He's Colonel Musker.
I watched the Japanese version.
Really?
So
Yeah.
He did the Disney dubs, and he's Colonel Musker.
You know when I realised that it was him?
Was it when he started going crazy towards the end and he starts doing like
When
the
he
Joker?
laughed,
Yeah.
I was like, it's the fucking Joker. What's going on? And I googled, I was like, Hamill?
Same.
Yeah, madness.
So wait, which one does he
yeah.
play? Like literally
The bad
army
guy,
officer?
Musker.
The
yeah.
bad guy,
the
the one
main
with the
bad
glasses.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa! See,
Yeah.
I can only see him with the Japanese voice, so I can't imagine it
Yeah.
as Mark Hamill now.
It's really weird. It's not Mark Hamill though, like we know him today.
He's
it's
good
like,
though.
Return of the Jedi Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
With that voice, it's weird.
I'll have to have a look.
It's like-
I'll have to Google it.
It's because this is what, like 10 years...
check it out.
Oh, do you know? Wait, I don't know when the Disney dub was. It was
What's the
around
thing?
animated series time. I don't know.
It was.
But it's young
these
Mark Hamill, though.
dubs were recorded in 1998.
Right.
Oh, so it'll be around when he's playing the Joker then, yeah, so it's similar kind of
Yeah.
voice. Yeah,
And there's a so the Disney dub was the second attempt at dubbing the movie
Yes.
because it was done originally, and then they redid it.
Magnum. It was a different company. Magnum dubbed the
Yes, right,
the old
yeah.
version. The only notable thing I've found from the Magnum cast is the original voice of the original English voice of Patsu was played by a woman, played by Barbara Goodson, whose voice we all might recognize a little bit better as Rita Repulsa from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mad.
Sorry.
Interesting.
Mad.
But yes, but the actual edition with the Disney dubs on it wasn't released to Western audiences till like 2003, and that was mainly due to how poorly Princess Mononoke was received over here compared to Japan.
Really?
Apparently so. So it didn't get released for ages. And then there's a whole more interesting story about... Well, it's not really that interesting. It's kind of dull. About how they have loads of different versions of when they released it and where with what, and whether it was like the subtitles were translated or literally just what they were saying.
Sounds like a palaver.
Trying to just get interesting facts for this was a pain in the ass. But anyway, next thing I've got written down is the budget and the box office. So the budget for this movie was 500 million yen, or $3.3 million.
500 million yen. That's nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, so $3.3 million.
Holy shit.
And box office... Get this right, because there's a difference between box office and then worldwide box office was different. Yeah, so the worldwide box office that I've got for I believe it was it opening weekend? No, can't have been. Just box office. Do you want to try and take a stab at how many yen or dollars it made? I worked out the conversion rate from the 80s as well.
I reckon it did well, you know. This movie's been really influential. And
bear in mind that this was the first one in the 80s.
I know, but like it's gorgeous though, right? Like I feel like
I'll tell you how well it did, like global sales of like VHS and soundtrack release. So that made $157 million global sales of everything.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Okay, maybe like $50 million in Japan. I think it did well.
I'm thinking more like 25, 30.
Amelia?
I was gonna go quite low. I was gonna go 13 million or whatever dollars for home, and then I was gonna go like maybe like $30 million for worldwide. I don't know because it's the first one. It'll either do really well or I think it flew under the radar and then came back like in by popular like by nostalgia and that. I'm not sure.
Amelia's closest.
Oh really?
Sort of. So worldwide box office, $15.5 million. All it made. I say all it made. It still got like.
It made money. It didn't lose money.
It made money, and it made a lot of money. Turns out that $15.5 million is 2.37 billion yen. I'm only telling you that because I looked it up. I put in conversion rate yen to dollars 1986, and I chose a specific day that this movie was released to see the conversion rate and worked it all out. So I'm not letting that.
Oh my god, I love it.
Please don't edit that out. It took me way too much effort.
Impressive.
Edit it out just for lols.
No, please.
Just put like a sound of a chicken or something over that entire audio. Like.
I managed to find out the facts about sales as well. So last week's Princess Mononoke had over 100,000. You said
something like that. I'm sure it's written down somewhere. I can find out.
This one being again 80s and earlier at tell you now, there were less. I don't know, not necessarily less effort, but there were less sales. I'll just tell you how many it was: 69,262,
Nice.
not just 69, and 381 colours. Not that I don't think anyone was counting, but apparently that's how many colours are in it.
Man.
Oh my god.
I mean, we said it about Mononoke last week, but I think it's equally valid this time. Like, so many sequences in this movie are bafflingly good for the 80s.
Yeah.
There's so like the train sequence quite early on, the train chase sequence, which in any other movie I'd probably turn my brain off because I don't fucking care about chase scenes anymore. It was thrilling. It was really good.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a cool movie. Sorry, carry on, Jacob.
That's all right. I'm probably going to jump back to some of these facts later on as what they're talking about becomes more relevant.
Yeah.
What was the last thing I had? Only that the Netflix English audio has an updated score and the mix is updated.
Oh.
Which I guess means Foley and shit like that, right?
It's your audio levels and redoing that kind of thing.
So that all got redone, and that's the version that's on Netflix. So if you watched it on Netflix, that's the one you watched.
It seemed good to me.
Yeah.
Netflix represent.
But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to cut to a plot run through. Now, the way I was doing this, I started watching it and then realised, oh, fuck, I need to be taking notes. So they're a bit rushed. And I was also just writing down what I was thinking and know what was happening. So you're going to hear my thoughts, and then I'm going to try and remember what part of the film that was from.
Interesting.
They are in chronological order. So I remember when it first opened, I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool, because they're on that airship.
Yes.
And I've written down Golden Compass meets Last Crusade.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love, because that bit in Last Crusade where like they're on that big old, not quite Hindenburg, but big airship. And
I don't know how, but I definitely seen the start of this movie, but nothing more. Like when she falls out of the airship at the end, that is the last thing I'd seen of this movie before watching it for this show. Like everything was so vivid. I was like, fuck yeah, I have seen this movie. This is a good movie. And then as soon as it got onto the bottom, I was like, none of these people are familiar to me. What the fuck is going on?
fair enough.
See, like, my reoccurring thought throughout this whole film was, and it really shows because, I've got that. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a Bioshock tattoo.
Yes.
I was watching it like, oh my god, Bioshock Infinite.
Cumbria, yeah.
Oh my god, Bioshock Infinite. Oh my god,
Speaking of Bioshock
That's
Infinite,
all I was doing the whole time.
It's one of the influences, isn't it? Yeah.
This film
must
has
be.
inspired and influenced lots of things, such as Bioshock Infinite.
It's good to say because it's just that Bioshock Infinite is just the game essentially. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Like,
yeah, literally.
it's insane.
Something else, another video game property that this inspired, apparently, is Final Fantasy's airship design.
Yeah,
Was
you can
influenced
see
by
it.
this movie.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
And later Disney properties supposedly have been influenced by this also. So Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Yeah, you can see that.
Definitely
What a
see it.
film
Vibes
that
from
was.
here.
I used to love those
And
films.
interestingly, and I can kind of see this, I sort of thought this one as it was like getting going, and then I kind of denied it later on. But apparently WALL-E has some kind of
So
Maybe.
vibes.
I
can
want
see it a
to
little
deny
bit.
that, right? But confession, I've never watched WALL-E. I've never seen
Very
that
good
movie.
Good.
Bad that,
so-
Guess who's going to be picking
good.
Wally at some point?
So what's similar about this movie and WALL-E then? Inform me.
I guess the big old fucking spaceship they have is
Okay.
like a ridiculously big spaceship.
I would say the
and you just
story
go,
is
oh,
kind of...
it's a spaceship. The design's kind of similar, I guess, to like Goliath, maybe.
Like,
But
It's like, right, if I was going to picture it, it's like how, everyone says that The Lion King is just... Which Shakespeare play is
Hamlet.
it? Hamlet,
Yeah, Hamlet, yeah.
It's the basic story, but in an entirely different context.
Yeah.
So, like, they have this thing that needs to go to this thing... No, hold on.
Yeah,
No.
so in Wall-E they find this plant.
You have the plant,
that he protects and
which
looks
is
after,
essential.
and that is the same as the stone.
Yeah, okay.
Crystal. And that there's a whole kerfuffle with this, and that's the key to restoring everything to how it was.
Right.
But in this one, it's we're gonna nuke the world, and in Wall-E, it's let's plant a tree.
Evil robot doesn't like Jeff. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember. Never mind.
You know, with the Bioshock influences, how much weirder would this movie have been if at the end it turns out that Patsu is actually Sheeta's secret father the whole time?
God, imagine. What, like a thing like at the end of Bioshock? Like
like at the end of Infinite,
thing.
yeah.
That would have been so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, even at the end of Infinite, I was like,
Bioshock
what?
Infinite.
You've not played Bioshock Infinite?
Well,
It's good.
no,
Do you know what? I mean, I just spoiled the entire fucking emotional core of the third act.
I knew the spoiler at the end of it. Actually, you know what? I was about to go into a thing about Bioshock Infinite. This is not a Bioshock Infinite episode, so let's move on quickly before I actually do. I was about to start talking about
that's like your version of Transformers, where it could quickly derail at any moment.
Yeah, literally. Like mentioning it is a danger zone. So, you know.
So yeah, she falls out the sky, and I remember thinking when she was
like
falling,
in Bioshock Infinite.
who falls like that? She falls weird. Like her arms were just kind of. But yeah, I guess it's because it was a drawing and not.
How would you fall out the sky, Jacob? If you were thrown off an airship, how would you fall out the sky? Would you fall straight?
I wouldn't just be still and like falling like that. I'd be like ragdolling around the place, I imagine.
But like in like GTA when you're like going your back and
Yes.
you're like
Yeah.
you're like
Exactly like that.
until you hit the ground and everything goes in slow motion. Wasted.
Yeah, and black and white.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stone thing saves her from falling because it does, and it's magic.
Magic boy.
Then I've got written down: are they all related? Sky people, that is. So you know, like the pirates, they keep calling her like Ma or something. I'm like, what are they?
Mama, they kept saying in the Japanese version.
Oh man, how amazing is her Disney laugh, Jacob? I can't even replicate it. At the start of the movie, she's like,
Really, like, yeah?
3 times. It's incredible.
It's like
That's how you know it's
your
Disney
nan was
dub. If she
evil.
laughs like that, you're watching the Disney dub.
She's well freaky in the Japanese version.
Really? What's her
Yeah,
laugh
like-
like in the Japanese version?
Pretty similar. She's a lot deeper and sounds like she smokes 30 a day.
Right.
Whoa,
So like,
that's
I
very
obviously I
different from the
can't
Disney
say
one.
anything in Japanese, and if I pretend to, I'm just gonna sound really like horrifically not racist, but like I just don't want to do it.
I think that's a safe bet. Yeah.
She like, I genuinely can't even replicate how she talks or her laugh. But if you Google it, she's like really kind of like little. It's horrible. You watch it,
That's
it's really
weird.
uncomfortable.
In the Disney
Sounds
one,
like the
she's
big
like,
slug from Monsters Inc. What was she called?
Roz.
Roz?
Ross.
Yeah.
Roz. Sounds like Roz from that.
Mark Wazowski. I don't know. Yeah.
We've actually done an episode on Monsters Inc. So if you want to go check that
Oh,
out,
yeah, we
Check
did,
that
yeah.
out.
you can go and do that. I'm fucking getting the hang of this now. But yeah, so then they have breakfast, and he immediately just takes her in. This is Patsu we're talking about. He's rescued Cheeto by catching her, and then taking all the weight and not falling off into the abyss because it's
Not breaking his arms.
anime,
Yeah.
and that's not how it works. So they do breakfast the next morning, and he's like, "Oh, look, this stone's magic. Watch me," and just fucking falls through the roof.
I love that.
Fucking
You
idiot.
know.
Off the side of the
I was
map.
like, "You fucking idiot!"
I love
Oh, no,
that.
that's a very-
Honestly,
What?
I love not treating people like idiots in the plot, and the character obviously goes, "You're glowing fucking storm." That's what you know. I mean, I know it's a comedy pratfall bit, but I admire the character's gusto of not ignoring the giant fucking glowing storm.
Yeah.
It's nice.
But before all that, we got this like brilliant bit where he's just chilling, playing his little trumpet on top of a building.
Yeah.
As we look over this
Oh,
little
the
town,
birds, yeah.
and all the birds kind of fly around. They do a lap, and then they come back in for aesthetics, I guess.
I mean, you mentioned last week, Amelia, that Hayao Miyazaki loves aeroplanes, and that could not
Just
be
you wait.
more fucking evident in this film.
It's almost like a young Hayao Miyazaki. I'm going to
Yeah.
get a plane and go to here. He must have, like, been the same.
Literally, right, hang on. How fucking cool. Maybe I'm weird, right? But how fucking cool are the pirates' little flying pods that buzz and fly like insects? That's well cool.
They were really cool.
I've not seen anything like
how a
that
lot
anywhere
of the ships
else.
just sort of flew like Chicken Run. Chicken
Do
Run.
they flap in
build
Chicken
a
Run?
big plane in Chicken
Hey,
Run.
they do it, it flaps.
And it flaps.
Chicken Run.
Yeah,
I love
Chicken
that
Run.
movie.
This movie's basically Chicken Run, everybody.
I don't
Around
want
the
to be a
family.
pie.
Yeah.
I don't like gravy. Oh, what a movie.
They've never seen the
What's a
thing where
movie?
everyone reckons that Chicken Run and Blade Runner are the same movie.
No!
I don't see it personally, but there's a section on the internet that believes Blade Runner and Chicken Run are the same movie, and I
I
follow a
need to
page on
Google this.
Facebook that's called like Blade Runner. No, it's what's
Okay,
it called?
so-
It's called like Chicken Runner or something like that.
Chicken Blade Runner or something.
So I'm not saying. I know I just said Chicken Run's a great movie, right? And I'm not necessarily saying it would have made it a better movie, right? But how much more interesting would Chicken would have been if it had ended with the two main character chickens driving away in a Volkswagen Beetle? You know, I'm just saying.
And you
Sees a
shot,
little-
wasn't it shots from The Shining? And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them sees a a unicorn made out of like pastry or something on the floor, and he's like, "Fucking hell, let's get out of here now."
Mel Gibson's just there like, am I even fucking real?
Fucking imagine his chicken with Deckard's gun. Oh my god.
Oh,
Fuck me.
But we're not talking about Chicken Run or Blade Runner.
What a shame. Carry on.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
we will.
Yeah, I put like here. Oh, he should have broken his legs. Didn't break his legs. And I put janky looking airship, which I think. Oh my god, what is that? Like,
That's it, you know. I told you, it's a thing. It's an actual thing.
Chicken Runner.
People
Chicken
believe
Runner
it.
2049.
Sorry, carry on.
God, imagine that. Like a Black Mirror episode.
Anyway, carry on. I just had to, I'm sorry.
how did he like a black? Never mind. You know what?
'Cause it's
Never
British.
mind. But yeah, so we get all this backstory about Patsu's dad, who is just not. Does he die?
I assume he's
I
dead.
can't remember. He's
Yeah.
an orphan. He says he's an orphan. And he's going off to find this magical flying city. If you're going to try and do that, don't do it in like a basic hot air balloon, which is essentially what he's flying up in.
Yeah.
Like,
But he gets
they can look-
close.
He gets
He
close,
does get
takes a big
close.
picture of it.
Laputa. Do you know what's a bit of a shame, right? And maybe this is intentional, but I think just because of the nature of animation, when they're talking about the picture of Laputa, even though we see his dad take a photograph, it's not really clear whether or not what they've got framed is a photograph or like a drawing, you know? Because it's all a
Yeah.
cartoon.
Right, this is the thing that I was thought when I was doing it, right? He must have survived that journey in order for
Yeah.
that photograph to come back. So he's died at some point after coming back. Because, I mean, he must have known his dad found it, claimed to have seen it, had the picture. But then, like, how do people know? Why do people think he didn't find it if there's a bloody picture of it?
Yeah. You could
You've got to
attribute
assume
it to
that
like...
this is like...
You could attribute it to like Loch Ness stuff, right? Where people have pictures and then people still don't believe them. But this is this is quite a clear photograph.
Yeah,
And you know,
like-
an Adobe Photoshop wasn't around. Like it was,
Like,
it was
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
rustic old time.
It's weird, isn't it?
But yeah, it's all a bit. It's there, but it's not. Actually, while we've mentioned Laputa, I'm pretty sure that that name was in the title of the movie in some regions when it was released before it got renamed. Blah blah blah. But if you spell out Laputa, it's Laputa. Does anyone know how that reads in Spanish?
Lapua.
No, Puta, Laputa.
But it's not pronounced Laputa. It's La Puta, which in Spanish means like the whore or the bitch or
Nice.
something like that. So
The
for obvious
whore
reasons,
castle in the sky. Wow.
so for obvious reasons, it got changed in Spain.
Yes.
And other Spanish speaking regions.
I would
because
imagine
it
that's
is, like,
why we just have it as Castle in the Sky here. Like probably similar to how Pan's Labyrinth was changed just all across the board in
Wait, what was it
Pretty
called?
much.
Did it have an original title in Japan?
Laputa
called-
Castle in the Sky.
Whoa, man.
But here it's not called that. I think the actual in Spanish releases when they did the subtitles or when they did the Spanish dub, rather than calling it Laputa because it couldn't be called that on the posters and stuff. It was called La Punta. So they put a little N in there to change it. Which
Imagine if it was called
way worse.
Laputa in the Sky in Spanish. It'd be called Horror in the Sky.
The Horror in the
the
Sky.
Horror in the
yeah.
Sky.
If they didn't have the castle bit, Horror in the Sky. What a film that would be. That's like the part. That's like the XXX version of this film. Is that weird to say? 'cause it's a
Alrighty
kid's
then.
film? No, 'cause
No,
you've got
gonna
like,
check if
you've
that
got, like
exists.
Scooby-Doo and stuff, haven't you? You've got all
We're gonna
kinds
get
of
into
weird
some
things.
weird, creepy parts of this movie a little bit later on.
Yep.
I know which bit you're on about.
Fucking, I think we all do. I won't jump ahead, but we'll get there. And then I mean we go down to this town because people are trying to get little Cheeto and capture her for the stone and stuff. And they go down to
call
the
her
town.
Cheeto?
And these,
Yeah, okay, just checking.
yeah. Because that's how I heard it the first time. I was like, oh, okay. And then later on, it was, oh, no, it's
See,
Cheeto.
in the Japanese one, Zach had to come in because all he could hear from my computer was Sheeta constantly, and he was like, "What are you watching?" Like, and I had to explain,
Well-
"Oh, it's this."
In the subtitles, I'm pretty sure it's SHEETA
TA, yeah.
because, again, originally
would
the
say
direct
shitter.
translation is
Yeah.
SHITA. So it's been
Shitter.
shitter. So they have to change that as well.
Oh, shitter.
Exactly. So yeah, and then they have this weird fight in the little town between some two big men who like puff their chests
Oh,
out
that
so
was
much
so
their shirts were
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah. I wanna do
fucking
that.
bigger than
stupid.
Yo, so real talk.
Oh.
I don't know what the actual influences of the scene are, but this is a bit. This is a staple of Japanese professional wrestling, right? This is how they do tests of strength, is where they'll stop actually trying to engage in holds, and both men will just stand in the middle of the ring and chop the shit out of each other's chests until one gives in. And in Japan, even though they still have the fundamentals of professional wrestling where it is a show and it is for entertainment and it is storytelling, they hit each other quite a lot harder than we do in the West.
Oh, really?
It is this bizarre thing where people's chests will just start bleeding and shit because they're hitting each other's
That
sounds
arms.
like really good
Attention
wrestling, that now.
to Joe and Joe's beard.
I know, so.
Putting his bloody Apple pencil in his
Using
beard.
your beard as a storage
Flexing,
device.
you know what I mean? Flexing. What else
Weird
should I
flex,
use it
but
for?
okay. Oh wait, no, that's what I've written. Weird flex, but okay when they're flexing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote. And I put down, this is just a really shit fight scene. Because I didn't get it. It was like, they're not fighting. They're just sort of going, now I'm going to hit you in the face. I've hit you in the face. Oh, no, I've been hit in the face.
I think
It's like
it was
those
Just back
games.
and forth of that.
I think it was comedy.
Very funny. It wasn't very funny.
What are those games where like you take your turn-based combat? There you go.
Turn-based
That's what
strategy
it
games. Yeah.
That's what it was in real
Felt like
life.
that.
This scene also inspired Final Fantasy.
Yeah, there you go. Same.
Must have done. And then we get the rail chase where they hop on a train and then a car starts chasing them and they don't think to immediately ditch all those empty trailers they're carrying until much later on when they're running across the trailers to get to the train. Ditch them first straight away. That train track is incredibly unsafe above a massive chasm and they're driving a car along
Yeah.
it, which is breaking the train track as they go. Just block it.
It was
Just block it with, you've got 3 empty trucks, block it with that.
It was like
They
it was like a Mario Kart track. I loved it.
Wario's Gold
Wow.
Mine.
Yeah, I
That's
was
what it
about to say
reminded me
that.
of.
Couldn't think of the
That's
name,
what
yeah.
I was thinking of
But-
now.
Yeah, why didn't they ditch the truck straight away? Yeah, but then we get this fucking gorgeous tank train. Like the look of that. That was a good looking tank train.
Yeah.
a lot
Out of 10
of,
for Tank 2.
you know, Thomas the Tank Engine, am I right?
Fucking hell.
Right
Yes.
there, that's what that was. But yeah, a lot of the military stuff was inspired by, like, German weapons.
Wait, hold on. What? The military stuff was based on German weapons?
Yeah, Second World War German weapons.
So you mean Nazi weapons then? Is what you're trying to tell us? That they were Nazis?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're bad people.
It was the 80s, man. What evil bad guys weren't the Nazis in 80s movies, you know?
True. I'll give you that one. I always forget sometimes that the Nazis are the bad guys in Indiana Jones.
I have that.
Yep.
It's weird,
And then it was
isn't
the
it?
Russians because they couldn't use the Nazis again for some reason.
Yeah.
But then it was
then-
the Nazis again in Crystal Skull, wasn't it?
Russians,
Wasn't it?
Russians.
It was the Russians in
Russians,
Crystal
that
Skull.
Really?
These, wasn't it? Them damn
God,
communists.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, but I thought there was still like secret Nazis or something.
Nah,
Whatever. I'm
no, it's the
misremembering that
thingy.
movie.
I
don't want to remember that
one.
movie.
Memory, yeah.
The third one where it's full on Nazis because he meets Hitler at one point in it and gets the book signed.
And he signs his book, yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Well, weird.
Well, weird.
The burning the book. I always wonder why she was crying in that scene. And Mum was like, the burning books. Mad. Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
But
Nazis.
Laputa.
Carry on.
But Laputa, yeah.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, and then I've written, she seems to make a habit of this, and I'm not sure. Oh, falling. So they jump off the rail tracks, and you're like, all right.
This
and then
bitch
the
gone
necklace-
yeet again.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then the necklace thing decides to save her again, which is kind of convenient. I'm not sure they would have done if it hadn't. They'd film over. And then I've written down, then they get to the caves, and I've written down, is she Australian? No, she's not. She's half New Zealandy. New Zealandy? Her mum's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And then they eat eggs in the caves. But
Getting all the
They eat them in
important
a
bits in.
That's pretty grim, then, isn't it?
With the uncle.
the way they eat the eggs is horrific. Like, who eats eggs like that?
Yeah, it is pretty
I
weird.
can't remember
Isn't
how
it?
they make them, but it's like, they kind of like slurp them up in their mouths rather than like.
But
cutting up
that's
the
a
little-
lot of what the culture over there is, because like obviously I live with an Asian guy, Dylan, shout out, and they will very much slurp it up. They'll very much do that. It's a thing, and so I think it's a really
Toast
interesting
in the
way of
yolk.
eating.
I was informed at one point that because so one of my favorite dishes in the world is ramen noodles, fucking incredible ramen noodle soup, right? And in Japan they have a lot of like quite cheap bars, and when I say a bar, it's literally like it's an outside thing. The entire room is a kitchen. And then you've got like 4 seats on the outside, and you just like eat your ramen in front of the chef, sort of thing, right? Like right there, have a little chat with them.
intimate compared to
It is
here,
really
isn't
intimate.
it?
And apparently, it is considered rude if when you finished all your actual food, if you don't slurp the soup, because if you don't slurp the soup, then it
Whoa.
wasn't that enjoyable, you know. But if you forget your manners and you just start slurping, then that's considered a compliment. Which is why I slurp at Wagamama's every time.
Nice.
We'd be fine in
Good
Japan.
Fair enough. But I still would have dipped the toast in my yolk. But that's okay.
Because you're very British, darling.
I don't know what you're talking about. And then, yeah, they meet this little old man in there who tells them everything about these magic little stone things. And I spotted this was interesting. They have 2 different names, these little stone things, neither of which I think are real words. But in the subtitles, they're called Volsi? Volley? What do you think these stones are called, Amelia? Because you watched it with subs.
I don't know. You know, when you just look at a word and it's too hard to pronounce, so you just kind of go, yeah.
But it began with a V.
I genuinely. Well, I don't know. Because they said I heard it in the Japanese way, and I genuinely can't remember how they've said it. Like, because I watched it like a week ago. But so
Fair enough.
when I heard it, I didn't really. I was reading subtitles, but I didn't take into consideration like how I would say it in English.
Gotcha.
But
But I remember
it being
writing down the
weird.
word, and I can't remember how to pronounce it. Volucite or something. Yeah, it's that. Anyway, it's that in the subs, and then in the dubs they call it Ethereum.
Yeah.
And they change it for some reason, and I don't know why they did that.
I'm going to guess that Volucite means fuck all in English, but Ethereum is close enough to ethereal, so you immediately think of magical, supernatural tendencies.
Yeah, maybe it's a word we don't have, so like you said, they've had to translate
Unless
it.
you're me and
Yeah.
didn't think of that because she's not smart enough to think about that.
Oh, no,
Strange
it's
that
not
they've
that.
given it 2 different names in 2 different languages. But yeah, the whole, for me, I thought this whole backstory bit, that like this film was 2 hours long, and everything to do with what's important just gets rushed
Yes,
rather than being.
I agree.
Was I the only one who felt that way, or because a lot of the every time there's a flashback to here's the thing, they just tell you it rather than showing you what it actually
I
is.
talked about it briefly at the end of last week's, the problems I have with Hayao Miyazaki. Love you, Miyazaki. Hate you, Miyazaki. The man's got a pacing issue. The man's got a pacing issue. A lot of this movie could be cut and be shorter. And I really do like this movie. I like this movie more than Mononoke. But a lot of it could be shorter and it'd be more enjoyable for being shorter. But I'll say this. This movie had a horribly slow start, right? But I consider this scene in the caves the last bit of what is essentially just like pure exposition and nothing else. And everything after, and it ends with the really pretty. The crystals become space essentially, and they look up into the stars, and it's really nice. And everything after this point is actually very well paced. Action and plot and character all happening at the same time. Like the back end of this movie is really, really enjoyable, but the first 30-40 minutes are awfully slow.
I found that the first half. I mean, I agree. Like that, it's slow, but I feel like the first half, it kind of introduces you to like the world it's set in, and like fair enough, there's not a lot of story going on as much, but like I felt once I'd seen that, I knew what kind of setting it was. You know what I mean? You had like your airships, and you had. I really liked the idea of it being like this, all these, like, because you don't get it as much in real life. But like all these like old industrial buildings that are already collapsing, even though it looks like this is meant to be the time where they were built or whatever. I like the idea because for me, this is like, it's like it's hard to explain. Like, have you ever heard the thing about the Empire State Building, about how there's an airship docking bay at the top because they thought that's where we were going with air travel.
Awesome! I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the reason they didn't use it is because they didn't think about the wind at the top. It was too windy for airships to stop on it. So they stopped doing it. And they stopped doing it at a lot of places for the same reason. So they started to develop planes. Well, no, that wasn't the reason they started to develop planes. But planes started to develop, so they used that instead. But yeah, that's why it's shaped the way it is. Because it was designed for there to be room at the top. For it to be like a space for airships, and I feel like this is set in a universe where that did work out. But then like you kind of carry on that style because around the same time you've got like it's very Peaky Blinders in the future.
For
I've
so
actually written it
long,
down, but I remember thinking steampunk.
For so long, I have legitimately wanted to make a like steampunk pirate TV show, like with airship pirates going around. It'd be so fucking cool. I was just about to ask everyone. So this movie is, I don't know if it was said and I missed it, or if anyone has read up on it and knows. The very first thing you see in this movie is simply the words 1986, inferring that it is set the year it comes out. But clearly, we've had a very alternate history leading up to this 1986, where it's all like you say, it's like all the clothes are still very like early industrial and things like this. Yeah. What do we reckon the diverging point like would have been? Well, we didn't make those.
It would have been around the 20s, wouldn't it? Because this is all very 1920s,
40s-ish, because they've got like machine guns. And
they do.
Tanks and stuff.
Maybe they probably didn't. They probably didn't have a Second World War, so there was no like Manhattan Project and stuff.
No, true.
Fair, but they also have this mad robot that's basically a nuke.
Yes, this is true.
So they developed that instead.
But it's somehow a magic robot?
Yeah.
Let's say
Maybe the
30s,
diverging
early
point
40s.
is just the very start of time when magic either was or wasn't.
It is all inspired from Wales, like little old Wales in the UK.
I can see
inspired a lot of
that.
it because Miyazaki went over to Wales during the miners' strike and was inspired by their community of we're gonna
can
we're
really
gonna do
see that now you
stuff for
said
people. So it's all made to look like Wales.
Nice.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about Wales.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think you're right.
Man. Wales. Oh man, Wales so cute, isn't it? Like, no one ever talks about Wales. I don't know.
We really forget about it. Just
I forget about
attached
Wales
to our little isle.
They have the most interesting accent, I think.
Yeah.
Wales, they do.
Where'd that come
Scottish
from?
is good. Scottish sounds cool, and then you've got Irish sounds cool. Ours is just our accent. Just is it makes people want to hate us
Yeah.
because we sound like twats. But Wales is nice and friendly. You know what I mean? Wales
It's
is
a
like
very slow dialect. So Irish and Scottish are quite quick, whereas Wales is very slow. So I think it's a fab accent.
I can't imagine being threatened by someone with a Welsh accent.
Yeah. It's very bubbly.
But I can
and
very
jolly,
much
isn't it?
imagine getting threatened by someone with a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
If anything, you could be talking nicely to me, and I'd still be feel
Scotland's kind of like dangerous but sexy, and then Wales is kind of like fat and jolly. That's how I.
Oh, it's like a little Santa.
Yes.
Town of
And then
Santas.
England is England.
Alien's a fat man who doesn't come home from the pub every night.
Yeah. He's got
fair
got
enough.
like a tat of like some bird and an anchor, like just here, England. You know.
Yeah. And then a British flag behind it. Just an England flag though, just the cross, not the rest of it.
Or
Just
just an
no,
England
yeah,
flag.
the cross, yeah, just an England flag.
See, whenever I think of England, I'll either think of that really bad stereotype of England, or the one I want us to be, which is just nice and lovely old Regency homes, and we all sip tea and we're all inclusive. But no, that's not what happens.
Man, there's always something wrong with England. Oh well.
Yeah.
We're just bitter
it's not
'cause we
with
tried to
Laputa.
take over the world and failed. But let's talk about them taking over the world in this film instead.
Nice.
The Welsh taking over the world.
Like
That's
that.
the diversion, isn't it? This is set in a universe where Wales takes over the world instead. There we go.
Welsh
That's the
Welsh
diversion.
Hitler.
Yeah, the Welsh Empire. There we go. We've got.
Nice.
Wait, what would it be? Would it be that red dragon? Would be the symbol,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Or-
Probably
goat,
was an
maybe?
actual red dragon.
or a sheep? What
Or a sheep. Way to go, Joe. Yeah, nice.
sheep? Yeah,
I'd go with the dragon.
I'll go dragon.
dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
so
they
in this
were
universe
the
where
caves.
Wales takes
Oh, hang
over,
on.
that's the saying. Go on, carry on. I was
All right, yeah,
giving you,
cheers. So
Wales takes over. Yeah.
they're in the caves, and then they get split up by the army. I can't remember how. I think they just
Welsh
get in a
army.
fight. I think, and they send Patsu home, and they show Cheeto this big robot. Like, oh, this is a big robot. Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then the pirates help him out.
I thought this bit was really weird. You know, why did the pirates suddenly become the good guys? It threw me off.
I've written that. I put pirates are good guys.
I do
Yeah.
kind of like how they changed the dynamic from because the first people you see and they're invading the airship and you don't get much dialogue, you only get commands and and you're like, oh yes, classically evil bad guy. And I think when Patsu gets home and they're sort of talking and they're being a bit more funny and they're kind of being a bit like the Goonies villains but a bit more friendly, it's kind of like, I don't know, do you know what I mean?
No, I honestly, as soon as I saw her and they were all calling her mum, I was like, oh my god, it's the villains from the Goonies. That's what I thought it was. I was waiting for her to slap him or something, or throw pizza at him or something. That's what I was waiting for.
But I liked
man.
them. It was a weird shift, but like, pirates or the army, obviously the pirates are going to be the good guys. Yeah. Sorry, Emil, you got really excited about something.
I did. Because as like you were saying about the robot and it jogged my memory, I was sat watching it and I was going to take notes and I didn't. I just decided to draw one of said robots.
Nice.
So for those of you listening on the podcast, basically I've drawn a really shit version of... It looks like it's got saggy tits.
I was going to say, what are those in the middle? What are those?
Put it on the gram. Put it on the gram when this episode.
I will.
In the film, the weird.
It's got like
plates.
Yeah, but
okay.
they look like tits on mine. So clearly, I'm a great artist.
Oh well. And then we get the big airship comes along called Goliath, and it looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it does look cool.
I like that. It reminded me of the Pridwin from Fallout 4. And I remembered it looks loads better than the Pridwin in Fallout 4, which was just a big balloon.
It was.
It's got so many guns on it. It's cool.
Lots of guns. And there's a cool robot that comes to life, and it's very fucking OP.
Yeah.
It's just got lasers, and it's strong, even when it's missing an arm. It's big robot, cool robot.
You know what the robot
Robot's
reminded
good.
me of? Has anyone ever seen the Superman cartoons from like the 40s?
Yes!
And
Do you know what?
No.
Yeah.
Insane. Because they were done, the way they were done, it's just right, they were from the 40s. It was before Superman was fully fleshed out as well. So there's no of his normal villains. He's fighting all these random people, like evil, like Lois Lane is just damsel in distress. I watched one recently where they cut out a line where it sounds like they've cut out a line where he essentially says Lois can't do something because she's a woman. Because it cuts off very suddenly.
Oof.
He says, "Oh, Lois can't do that," and then it cuts off. And I'm like, "What were you about to say?" I know what you were about to say because they're on about something. It was something like she can't fly a plane or something. It's like Lois flying a plane. She can't fly a plane and then it cuts off. I'm like, "What were you about to say?"
Not a pilot.
No. If you know the beginning of the conversation, they're on about how people can fly planes, and they're all men, and they're like, "Oh, Lois could fly," and it's like she can't because
I find this very ironic that we're saying this, and it is actually International Women's Day today.
It is International Women's Day.
It is.
It's you watch it, and I'm like, oof.
Yeah.
Because but no, the whole thing of it was, there's an episode of that where he's fighting giant robots, and the effect, they look very similar to these, and the thing in this with the eye, with like laser eye thing, the design of the eye looks very, very similar to his heat vision in that Superman cartoon. And the animation's very similar as well.
Someone on Twitter shared the scene where they show up and it's like a big old fight. And let me tell you, for an animation based on a cheap ass comic book from the 40s, holy shit, it's gorgeous. It's so
insane.
slick. It's unbelievable.
It's insane. You know how they did it, right? They did that thing where they recorded someone doing the actions and then drew over the
Rotoscoped them.
Rotoscoping,
yeah.
Like, there's little things in it. The one I saw was, there's a bit where he pushes a building, and it's only a minor thing, but he uses the wall behind him to, like, push himself back up. It's only a tiny little minor thing, but it's not something you see in animation.
Yeah, it's not something you think
especially
to draw.
in the 40s, yeah. But no, the whole thing of it is that the look of that is extremely similar to the look in this. Especially that heat vision thing. That white beam and the robot. It reminded me of that so much. It's ridiculous. But yeah. Robot. Bioshock.
Cool robot. Robot's good.
Robot good. Mad how the heat vision or lasers or whatever, not only was it enough to be a laser, whatever it shot then exploded
Pretty
as
lit.
well as just being lasered, which is kind of strange, but mad OP robot.
I do enjoy the movie trope of weapons changing effectiveness depending on what they're shooting at. So like if a silo was assumed, if a gun silo was assumed to be empty, it would explode. But if Miyazaki wanted to show people escaping from the gun silo, then the laser would hit it and it would start to heat up for a couple of seconds so they could escape, and then it would like melt or something, Yep. Same laser, two very different reactions.
Yeah. It's really weird. It's like you can adjust it. Maybe adjust the heat.
Maybe.
Just saying.
Maybe he was like, that melt thing, that was too nice. Explode everyone now.
It's like when you get a lighter and you
exploding.
can adjust how big the flame is by twisting that thing. That's what he was doing. But in his head.
Anywho.
Or anything where you can adjust the thing on whatever it is ever.
Maybe.
But no, a lighting.
Maybe.
Why
I
not?
think it's the lighter thing.
But yeah, Robot dies and Cheeto escapes with the pirates, but she's lost the stone because, of course, she lost the stone. She had to lose the stone, or else it would be over.
There would be no story.
Yeah.
Compared to all the military stuff, the pirate ship is kind of lame. I've written Big Bird next to it 'cause it's just a big bird, and it makes the most horrific noise. It would drive you insane being on that while it tweets, while it's like flapping.
I do really like, though, the little hats, the pirate hats with the bird beaks at the front.
Yeah, they look quite cool.
Yeah.
So it would look ridiculous in real life, but they look cool in anime. That's everything in anime, isn't it?
Yeah,
looks ridiculous in real life.
It's the running when they run like. That's not gonna happen in real life.
No.
And then the next line I've written down here is: are they all kind of the same age, or are they all nonces? Because we get that kitchen bit, right?
Yes.
And I read somewhere that the voice acting they had for the Japanese original Japanese dubs, were quite young. And then when Disney came to do the dubbing, they deliberately cast a little bit older to age up the characters, to make them seem more like teenagers and not like pre-teens.
Yeah, because it's weird, isn't it? Because there's a scene very early on in the movie where Patsu and Cheetah are trying to escape the military. Escape the pirates even. And the pirates are going around town saying, "Oh, have you seen a little girl?" And they see Patsu and Cheetah, and they go, "Oh, she'd be about their age." And you see them next to each other, and they look height-wise, on purpose, seemingly, like 8 and 6-year-olds at best, right? Yeah. And then this scene happens, and suddenly it's not much, right? It's still fucking non's territory, but she's drawn wee bit taller, wee bit more assets suddenly appear. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like it feels like you've adjusted her character model to justify what you're doing, instead of reflecting on what you're doing and going, shouldn't do that.
In the Japanese version, they sound like grown men.
Shouldn't have these men's with beards wanting to fuck this 8-year-old girl.
They were fully into it in the Japanese version. Like when you're listening to it, they don't sound like kids. They sound like grown men.
Oh.
No, the grown men are kept as grown men, but like Patsu and Cheetah are cast as being more like teenagers than pre-teenagers.
I think you meant thinking.
Yeah.
It's still fucking weird.
But something else I read interestingly was there was one of the lines of dialogue that got changed, or was changed for some reason, which made it more creepy in the redubbing, where originally the intention and the input and like the translation, either it went wrong or something, but originally they were looking up to her as more of a mother figure rather than a romantic interest, which is that better, or is it still kind of fucking strange?
Still strange.
It's still
I feel like it's better than them being nonces though.
But I feel like it still keeps the non's territory. Now they've just all got a mommy complex, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
exactly. But this whole thing was just fucking unnecessary and weird.
Yeah.
You can just have a scene where she just does some cooking and she serves, and they go, "Oh, thanks." You can.
We need to remember Japanese culture here, though, and they have maid cafes which take very young children. Well, not children, but you know they. And I think there's just a difference.
They do take on teenagers sometimes. Like it's not okay. Yeah, no, Japan is weird, and I'm calling you out, Japan.
I didn't know we were still recording.
Like there's a weird, like you could say it's like a culture thing, but like no, it's
very
odd. It's not okay. It's really not
Yeah.
okay. And a lot of the people within, I don't know, I think it's glorified by weeaboos in the West who are like, oh, it's and, you know, they love it and everything. They're the people who buy fucking, who buy like, fucking
Animal tail butt plugs.
animal tail butt plugs and body pillows. Actually, hang on. I bought something for my girlfriend as a joke.
Oh, God.
Hang on.
Oh, God.
Let me show you my
Is this-
partner's. Let me show you my partner's mouse pad. Hang on.
Oh, it is the mouse pad.
Oh, thank God. No, right.
Is it the booby one? It's going to be a
I
booby
was
one, isn't it?
stressing out for a minute then, you know.
Oop, shit.
He was on
I
about...
thought he was going to pull out
Right,
some
hang
like
on.
furry shit.
I'll just cut
He was
this bit
saying-
in a second.
Oh.
Squidge. She asked me for one of these.
She asked you.
Yeah. It's really it's really comfy. But
See, I need to get Zach one, but
Japan.
don't think I'm going to get him one of those.
I'm gonna get him a titty one instead of an ass one. There are people within the country who voice like criticisms of this. It's worth pointing that out. That like, it's not as if the Japanese public are all okay with this attitude towards over sexualization and objectification, particularly of young girls. There is people who are perfectly happy to do it, and they throw a lot of money into it via like idol culture and things like this. But there is still a lot of criticism. But over here in the West, the predominant view of this country is sexy, ugu, cat-made teenagers, and that's weird. And the reason is the people that primarily get obsessed with Japan eat all of this media up without question, and just every part of it has to be okay. And I know this because I used to be one of those people.
See, right, when you were into it, though, were you the age of the people in these, like...
Yeah, I would have been like 14, 15. Like,
Yeah, so that
yeah.
was, I mean...
And
I'm
even then, I didn't take people's bullshit, and this has become a meme as well. It's where what they've drawn is a fucking 6-year-old, but then the canon of the show is like she's a 8,000-year-old like god or something, you know, and that's what's supposed to make it okay that people want to fuck her, and I was never okay with that. But you know, yes, as a teenager, I was a weeb. Don't be a weeb. Life gets better post weebness.
Did you run with
Throw
did
your
you did a
fedoras
thingy run
away.
with your arms behind your back?
You don't need them.
Oh man, fedoras! I love fedoras. I need one.
Yeah, so they're all on this big bird, flapping about.
I know.
And what?
You said, so they're all on this big bird. I don't know. I don't know why that's the first thing that came into my mind.
The first
See,
thing that
I
I
think,
thought
like,
of was Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
Yeah. Big bird.
You know what I think? No,
All right then. They're all on.
I
Big
picture
Bird.
that video of him busting through the door.
I love that video.
It's a good video.
Great video.
Beautiful.
And they're flapping around, and they're being chased by Goliath, and then the clouds start doing weird things. And it's like, well, that's probably the hidden city behind those clouds, isn't it? Yeah, that's the hidden city behind those clouds. And I've just written down Cloud City. This is a Star Wars film. There's a city in the clouds.
Nice.
It's Cloud City. It's not.
Didn't Star Wars come out before this?
Yeah.
77 and then 85?
80?
So yeah.
Empire
was 80, wasn't it?
earlier. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
82,
yeah.
I always forget.
Yeah.
Thingy was, and then Jedi was 83.
Oh gosh, so yeah, they did come out a lot earlier.
Yeah,
But
'cause
yeah,
he
we
did
got this-
that, and then Blade Runner.
I can't really claim it that
Indiana Jones.
that this was inspired by Star Wars, the whole city in the clouds thing, because it's probably Gulliver's Travels. I say probably. It's been.
I think it's actually I think it's a tale. I'm pretty sure it's a book. Because when I googled
It's like from
it come up with a book.
1726, I think. I've written it down. Gulliver's Travels was written in 1726. Boom. Remembered it. Didn't even have to look it up.
Really?
Yeah, it's a book.
Oh my god.
It's a real
I
old
think it was
book.
that old.
Can't find it.
Yeah. Isn't Jack Black in a film about Gulliver's Travels?
He was in the
he is,
remake,
yes.
yeah.
Jack Black. Oh.
I used to really like that book when I was a kid. So has anyone ever got to Gulliver's World?
Yes.
That was
I
good.
have.
That was good. That Gulliver's World was
I
sick.
like Go as well. It was alright. It was
Like
fine.
you,
We had a
live too
wooden
far
roller
away,
coaster.
Jacob.
you couldn't go there. Like we couldn't go there now because Gulliver's World is very specifically designed for very young kids. So if you go when you're like 6, it's really sick and it's really cool. And I remember going back once when I was like 12, and I was like, I can't. All these rides are lame. I physically can't ride them. They're too small.
You level
why I
up
never
to
wanna go back to
old
Lego
Yeah, you
towers
become
at that
Gulliver.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, us
Feelings.
Midlanders, we didn't get to go that far.
Didn't get any of that shit.
It was like 20 minutes down the road from me, so we went like twice. Because Mum didn't like it, so it was shit. So.
One time when I went to Gulliver's World, a wasp flew in my mum's mouth.
Ow.
Same. What the fuck? How? How has that happened to both? Oh my
Why
god.
not?
That's why we only
hell.
went twice, because she didn't want to go back.
Mentally
Go
scarred.
into
man.
her mouth.
Oh,
Bloody hell.
Oh, fucking hell. Carry on, Jake.
oh man.
So, the next thing I've written down is weird kink of them being tied together. I know this
Yeah.
happens a lot. There's a lot of, oh no, we're tied up to each other. But actually, it's not like, oh no, we're restrained, we need to try and get out of this situation. It's, oh, whoopsie, we're tied together.
At least they're the same age. Still weird that they're showing me, but at least they're the same age.
Yeah, yeah. But, and then the next thing I've written is, no technology, at least railings would be a good idea. Because I'm pretty sure once they're on Laputa, there's just no railings anywhere. There's
That's
no
why
sense
it's
of technology,
abandoned.
but there aren't any railings. Has everyone just fallen off?
Because everyone's
Yeah, I
too
reckon
smart.
that's what it is.
Everyone's
But
too
yeah,
smart.
there are no railings on Laputa, and there aren't any people. It's just loads of weird little creatures and big robots.
The creatures were fucking cute, bro.
The creatures. This is my like one little fact about this movie that I don't know if anyone else will have. The creatures were voiced by incidental creature noises. One of the voices was my personal boy, Frank Welker, who is the voice of Megatron. Megatron was those foxes.
Whoa.
I did not
So
have
you've
that
got some
written down.
dude who fucking could kick your face into
Yes, he's a very talented
God.
guy, Frank Welker.
range.
Right. Then they get shown all this magical stuff, and they're like, oh, there are some robots that aren't working, and there's some robots with moss growing on them, and isn't this place really nice?
Yeah.
And then the army shows up, and you're like, oh, now what? Now what's going to happen?
Bloody government ruining everything again.
Yeah,
Coming in
and the
with
next
the
thing I've written
massive
down
airships.
is they worked all that, what does that say, stove or store? I wrote it down pretty quickly. Either way, there's a bit where the army are like, right, here's what we have to do. We have to get the stone, take it to the little mini Death Star underneath the island.
The word probably said stone.
Maybe? But yeah, either way, the army
Store
people...
or stove, that could be stone.
Stone. It could be stone.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't remember them taking a stove, so it must be stone.
It's probably stone, I'll be honest.
Cheetah going, dangling a massive fucking stove around her neck.
And a store.
Foreman
whole
grill
fucking
thing
shop.
just round her neck, just like with sticks whacking it on. It's like, oh, there's no fucking
And that's
plug.
why she would be a cook on the pirate ship, because of her magical stove.
A
So
magical
this is
stove.
clearly this
we
is
go.
clearly from earlier drafts of the script where it was a magical stove.
Yeah, it
Actually
must
got
be,
like
yeah.
top secret. I wasn't supposed to say that. I was supposed to read stove as stone, but I fucked up. Sorry.
Oh man,
I've
Miyazaki's
leaked-
gonna
I've
come
leaked.
after you.
He's coming for me. But the army seem to know what they're doing with this stone because the guy who's running them is someone who used to live there, but isn't there anymore because no one's there
used
anymore.
to live there.
Right.
His,
No, he
his
didn't.
I think
ancestors
he's a
lived
descendant,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a descendant.
Can I- right.
Okay, he's a descendant, but he knows what he's doing. And then the two kids who don't know what they're doing go, they're taking the stone, they're taking it to this place because they're going to do this. Right, let's go. Like, wait, what?
So when did you know this?
Hold your fucking horses. How did they manage to figure that out? Just so that they can go and do the next bit. It felt really rushed, and it was just you just had that happen when I don't know. It was just very lame. I didn't enjoy that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's plot convenience playhouse in full effect. Like,
Yeah.
But the sphere was kind of cool. I like the fact that it had all these weird wall sections and cubes that kind of popped out.
yeah.
I really liked the design of that. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
It seems like that would be a really good level in a video game.
Yeah, it would be.
Yes, it was
It
in
made cool noises.
Fallen Order. They had a bit in it where you're training. It's like a flashback bit where
Yeah,
you're
with
doing
the
bits of
cubes
training.
and
You have to
stuff, yeah.
jump from like
Wow.
cube to cube as they're like.
Did
levitating
anyone
across.
ever play Destiny or Destiny 2 or either of them?
My
Yes.
brother did.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you
Ashamedly.
remember the robot race or something that were like terraforming the different planets and
This is exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Fair enough.
same kind of design thing in it, like the technology in the walls, but like it's stone and it's.
Yeah.
I really love that design. I always used to say that if I was to ever make a like War of the Worlds inspired thing, that I have that kind of alien mixed with natural kind of thing. 'Cause it
Yeah.
looks really cool. There's something really like cool about like rocks that look like they've been carved, but they're actually natural form and what you know what I mean. That kind of design, and you get that here. It just looks really cool.
It does look good.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit of back and forth where they basically get the stone back off this guy after they discover that he's going to try and blow up the world with
After
the
it turns
little
into the Joker, you mean?
Death Star bit, so that then Laputa can become this amazing thing that it once was. And I've written down he's an amazing shot because he's stood with his gun and he shoots the fucking pigtails off her
Yeah.
Yeah.
way back. That's fucking impressive.
I'm curious to
Well
know
done.
if that's like something that can happen.
Nah.
Do you reckon like
Miyazaki is clearly obsessed with what if a projectile goes through something so fast it takes it clean off.
yeah.
Yes.
Arms in Mononoke,
True, yeah.
hair in this.
What's it going to be in the next one? Clothes.
Oh. What are you picking for us?
Like,
Oh no! You know what? I regret saying it now. Jesus.
senpai, don't look.
No, stop, please. Right, carry on.
Done, Joe.
Carry on.
He's snapped back.
Jesus.
He's gone straight back to like 14-year-old Sam.
Oof.
Nanny.
Oof.
Oh no. And then they're like, oh, we can't stop him. How are we going to stop him? Oh, remember we got told that spell it's a destructive spell.
Yes.
You know it, and you think you remember it, but you only got told it, and it's like one word. It's like a one-word spell, and immediately it's like, oh yeah, boom, done.
You know what my favorite thing about this is? Right.
Go on.
So in the Disney dub they pronounce it Barus. They sort of really accentuate the U in it, right? To actually write it down canonically, it's BALSE, right? And yes, it's balls, because when things get translated from Japanese, R's and L's are very, very similar. So the spell is just balls, but because Disney didn't want to have that be the destructive spell, they sort of took the liberty of being, it's an R, Barus. Balls, the most destructive spell ever known to mankind. Balls!
Incredible. But I just thought it was mad that the oh, help me, I'm trapped up by some bad people spell is this long, nice little poem and she's like looking off into the sunset or whatever she was looking off at. And then the self-destruct spell is just one word.
Do you know about the little Twitter trivia associated with this, Jacob?
Yes, I do. It was being shown at a place, I think. Where was it being shown?
It's in Japan. It's an annual broadcast they do now. It was one of the first times that it was being shown on television in Japan.
Oh, okay. But yeah, loads of people who were watching it all tweeted out this one word all at the same time, and it became the most tweeted thing. It was trending in like seconds because like over 100,000 people all like tweeted it at the same time independently.
To this day, it's the biggest spike of Twitter traffic the site has ever had in one single second, as everyone in unison tweeted it at that exact same moment. Since then, there has never ever been as many tweets tweeted at the exact same moment as there was right then.
That's pretty mad.
You know,
pretty crazy.
You know, if that concept of a good tweet was turned into a chocolate bar or a collection of chocolate, you know what it'd be called?
Where's he going with this? Where's he going with this?
You know what it'd be called?
What would it be called, Joe?
Quality tweets.
And that's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much.
Tune in next week.
Quality tweets.
That is one of the worst jokes I have ever heard.
Oh man.
Hayao Miyazaki is judging you hard right now.
Oh boy.
I want to know what dots your brain had to connect to land there.
I don't know.
That's
amazing. Man. I was just like, tweet sounds like sweet. Oh no, street, sorry, no street. And then there was the connection, was birthed from there.
What a journey.
But they blow up the little Death Star bit, and just the little Death Star bit, and all the roots of this big tree. Well, big tree.
Oh, there's a big tree.
Big tree in this. Got another big
this
tree.
This is a pretty good tree.
Rate the tree.
I think this is a top tier tree.
This is. Oh, what were we currently comparing it to? A big tree in Vertigo.
Yeah, the big tree in Vertigo.
Tree in Avatar.
The tree in Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh,
the
Pan's Labyrinth tree.
The tree in the holiday special at the end.
Oh,
tree of life.
Big life tree.
Big life tree.
I think this is currently my favourite tree.
Yeah, because it's a flying tree. It's still flying.
There's somewhere to live around it as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
If I wanted to live on this tree, I have somewhere to sleep. And eat.
You know what? When Laputa was like turning and changing and like spikes were coming out of it and stuff, I well thought it was going to turn out to be like a transformer, you know. I was like, lots of robots live on this city. This city's going to be a big robot, isn't it? And then it wasn't. It just got spiky.
It just got a big spiky ball. But yeah, while Mark Hamill's guy was doing all the self-destruct... Well, no, not the self-destruct. He was releasing robots and lasers and things. And we saw how mad powerful one robot was when there were, like, loads of them. Like, you knew shit was going to hit the fan. But no, they blew
cool
all
when
up
they were
instead.
flying as well.
I like that. I did like that little flappy robot. But yeah, the whole thing blows up and they need to get off it, and there's the little flying boat thing that they were in at the start, just in the tree roots just next to them. How about that? So they hop in that and they fuck off, and then the tree just floats up into space because it's got magic rocks on it. Just like the magic rocks in Avatar, which made shit float.
Is magic rocks in Avatar?
Oh, the Halo
Gravitonium.
Mountains.
No, I don't care about Avatar. Again, I'm cutting this off again. I've asked the question, I'm cutting it straight off. I don't care about Avatar.
Nah, it's like just like Avatar, it's got magic rocks that fly. James Cameron watched this and went, I'm making a movie out of that.
Same universe.
Big flying trees and rocks. There you go. This movie is
What
Avatar.
if it was this movie with blue people and it was just as sexually awkward but in new and refreshing ways?
The army is still the bad guy. And they're
Thanks,
after this
James.
resource.
Is that how he came up with the concept of Avatar then? He watched this movie and then went into the other room and his like child was watching the Smurfs and was like, what?
Like, oh man, them Smurfs.
A light bulb on top of his
Let's let
head.
them fuck.
He'd be like, whoa. Calls his wife, like, I've got an idea. Gets out some money, throws it at him. Like, there you go, do what you want.
But yeah.
But it was this was the 90s, so he hadn't got the technology to make it yet. What a fucking shame that was.
Yeah. And then the big tree castle rock floats off into space. Laputa's gone. Yeah. It's floating. And that's the end of the movie. It ends.
That's the end of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like
it's
this.
good.
Yeah.
It's good. Off it goes. I paused it mid credits, and it kind of like darkens like the side that had the credits on, and the logo came up on Netflix, and I was like, man, this would be a really good. It's really pretty. Just as it floats off. Oh, it's a good shot. It's good, well composed. Good shot. Okay. Anyway, that was Castle in the Sky. What we're going to do now is we're going to go. No. What we're going to do is we're going to go around in a circle and give it an individual score out of 10, and then I'm going to use maths to get an overall score out of 100 and see where it ranks on our list of the best to worst movies of all time. Amelia, kick us off.
So, like I said, this is the first time I watched this film. And I did watch it in the Japanese dub. Part of me feels like I should have watched the English one as well, because I found it quite hard to concentrate because I was trying to do stuff at the same time. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's not my favourite one that they've done, but I also do appreciate the fact that this is the first film from the studio. So obviously, you can see that they've not fully established themselves, they've not got their stereotypes, whatever yet, like, they've not got their features that are very Ghibli, but they still do at the same time. It's one of those kind of films. So yeah, I did enjoy it. Like I said, I didn't enjoy it as much as the others. So for me, I can only give it a 5, but I did enjoy it.
Fair. Jacob?
So after I finished watching it, I was like, which one's better, this one or Mononoke? And I didn't want to give them just the same score again, but the more I've kind of gone through talking about it again, the more I've kind of gone, they were finding their feet, and yeah, it looks good. What? Like, Nazi pirates. I'm not about that.
That was one scene, though.
It's fucking weird. It was really weird. But yeah, if they just drew like what he wanted, if you could just look at some of these scenes and have them as like wallpapers or posters, I'd probably get about as much appreciation out of it, I think.
Right.
Maybe that might be a bit harsh. But yeah, I agree with Amelia. 5.
Joe?
I mean, my first thing was when I saw the title of this film, I instantly thought that it sounded like the title of a Coldplay song, so there's that. But alternatively, the actual film itself, the problem with it is, right, watching this now, I've seen all the things that this inspired. So having played Bioshock Infinite, for example, I'm like, I like this more. Because when I first played Bioshock Infinite, I was like, oh my god, the aesthetic of this is really nice. I love it. And I'm like, oh, it's like the Bioshock Infinite aesthetic. Oh wait, this came first. I'm going to like it because it's like Bioshock Infinite. So I really like the design. It's kind of... I feel like this is probably one of the first few like steampunk style things as well. So it's like...
Put on the screen, probably,
yeah. I don't want to say that it like... No, I don't know, yeah, I reckon, yeah. It's one of the first few. It's like what Blade Runner was for like cyberpunk, probably.
Yeah.
Not as influential. No, I don't know, maybe it was. But I really liked the start. I really liked the concept of city in the sky being like a mystery. Like, oh, does it exist? Oh, it's like Atlantis in the sky, essentially, isn't it? It's really cool. So, as for, I mean, the story's flawed. In considerable amount, as Jacob said, Nazi pirates. But there are Nazi pirates in other things as well. So,
that's the
one other thing where there are Nazi pirates.
I don't know, Star Wars, maybe, I don't know. Star Wars is a massive thing, there's got to be Nazi pirates in there somewhere.
It's got to be Nazi pirates
at some point in the history of Star Wars.
Are you talking about the universe of Star Wars or just the Star Wars films?
Talking just the universe.
Oh no, I mean like in like not just in general as an idea, but when have there been like Nazi pirates in a film?
There's got to be some time. Nazi pirates.
Was there any Nazi pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean?
I got the film that Elizabeth Swann's is quite young. She's meant to be 17 or something, 16.
Yeah.
She's meant to be quite young. There are a bit Nazi pirates in there. Nazi pirates.
Most of them are like old men as well.
Especially in the first one.
Yeah.
Nazi pirates. And even
I guess pirates are just Nazi by nature, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe.
Nazi by nature.
Oh no. Oh god, imagine. But yeah, boy. No, there's
Sounds like something you see on a t-shirt. Like...
Oh
Don't be wearing that t-shirt.
Oh no! Imagine walking into our shop in one of those shirts. Would we have to
how
tackle
in
you?
like, how like when they get re-released into the wild, they have to inform everyone around them that there's a nonce living somewhere. They should be made to wear that t-shirt. Nonce by nature. So everyone can sit and go, oh,
Nonce.
there he is.
Nancy boy. Anyway, score. I'd like to know.
But yeah, no, not to parrots. I mean, there's some good stuff in it though. Still, like the robots are cool and the concept's cool and the world's cool. So I'm gonna give it like a 7 because it's flawed in places, but I just love the concept too much to rank it any lower because I love Bioshock Infinite. So Bioshock Infinite has influenced my opinion a lot in this film. So
to be fair, I think I'm going to go quite high. I want to give it an 8. I have this whole thing, right? It's really weird. I really treasure like storytelling. It's not my thing, right? But there's this phrase, and I can't remember where it's originated from. I'm not going to lie. There's this phrase that's really stuck with me, and that's no, not Nancy Pirates.
It is now. That's something that's going to stick with you now.
It's the phrase, I'm a film student, and that means I think style is substance. And I definitely relate to that, right? And this was a really cool looking movie. Everything about this movie was cool. The costumes were cool. The robots were cool. The castles were cool. Everything was cool. The planes were cool. The action scenes were fun to watch. The animation was gorgeous. And in comparison to Mononoke, both of them had similar pacing issues, but in reverse. I thought the intrigue in Mononoke was fantastic, and the payoff was weird and bad. And this one, the intrigue was boring and rubbish, but the payoff was exciting and fun. And I think having a stronger ending is better than having a stronger start, because if you can at least power through that start, the lasting impression is the last thing you saw, which ended up being quite good.
Yeah.
So I want to give it an 8, personal preference, which gives us an overall score of 62.5, which places it quite low as the 16th greatest movie of all time.
What's the lowest? I know what the lowest is, but what in number wise? What's that?
Like
22
or something.
22.
Oh, right. Oh, what? How many points did it pick up? 5 out of 100.
No, no. I know that. I know how low it is. I mean, that's what I meant. So it's 22.
Yeah. This is episode 22, so the last one is,
Mad.
16th
like
out
a
of
full
22
season or
currently.
something. Nice.
Well, there we are. That brings us to the most important part of the show, and that's finding out what we are going to be watching next week. Joe, let us know.
No, I mean, right.
Don't do this again.
Because I wasn't sure, and I was like, because I don't really watch things like this. I know for this, so I wasn't really kind of like, okay, right, what could I pick? So I thought, right, I could either find one that's completely like I've never even heard of, or go the other way, which is what I'm gonna do. So for next week, we're gonna be watching the only one of these that I actually recognised, Spirited Away.
Nice.
Good.
Nice.
That's the only one I even recognised when he first started doing it. So I recognised the ghost thing with the face. So
No face.
I also then
Sorry, go on,
recognised
Joe.
the bunny thing from what's it called? My Neighbour something.
My neighbor.
Totoro.
You mean Totoro?
Yeah, that I recognised
This
that
little
as well.
fucker.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
thought
him.
they were from the same film.
Fucking scary.
Yes.
So what I want to do next week, if it's okay with you, Joe, I want to have a semi-recurring segment for the first chunk of the movie. So I've only ever seen Spirited Away once, and even then, I've not technically seen it all the way through. I had to watch it in school, right? It was part of a geography thing. We were studying Japan, right? So they're like, so I come in, I'm 13 years old or whatever, right? And I sit down in geography, and they're like, right, today, class, we're going to be watching an anime. And I go, fucking yes! yes, anime, yes, right?
Everyone's turned to that, Sam.
Expecting like Dragon Ball Z or something, right? You know? And then Spirit Away comes on, and I'm like, fuck is this rubbish? You know, right? Because I was an idiot and I was 13 years old. So what I'd like to do every so often for the first hour of the plot is interject with what my idiot thoughts were as the movie was going on. Yeah.
If you shit on Haku, though, I will kill you.
Maybe 13-year-old me did. I'm just saying.
See, that's so weird, though, because you watched Spirited Away in Geography. You know what we watched in Geography?
Go on.
Bloody Benidorm. We weren't even studying.
The Impossible.
We watched
Oh,
you know, they did a trip to watch The Impossible in the cinema. But we watched Benidorm, and we watched that Leonardo DiCaprio film where he does the South African accent, the Blood Diamonds. When we were studying about Africa and blood diamonds.
So
see, I know this is like
films.
year 9, year 8.
Oh, I can't remember that far back.
Geography. So I just remember those two things. But yeah, sounds good to me, Sam. Excited to hear your 13-year-old thoughts. Wait.
Oof.
Maybe not.
Oof. Yeah.
Maybe not all the time. Uh-oh.
Nancy by nature. Right, anyway, so that was Castle in the Sky. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know what you thought of this episode and the movie in the comments down below. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Disclaimer, Joe's not a nonce. Please don't arrest him. I said not a nonce.
Yeah, no, but at what point was it suggested that I was?
Oh, boy.
How
when you wanted to know about Sam's 13-year-old thoughts.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not a nonce. I promise.
That's what a nonce said.
What?
No.
Oh,
no.
Right, that's it.
Do not come and arrest Joe. If you like what we do here at the Outtakes, if you've been listening to us on the go, you can find us on a video version over at YouTube by searching for the Outtakes Movie Podcast. And if you have been watching on the video and you want to take us on the go on your daily travels, search for us in whatever your podcast app happens to be, or by searching the Outtakes Movie Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for The Real Outtakes. I think that's all the shilling done. Yeah.
What about that merch? The t-shirt, which is
buy that merch.
Nazi
No,
by nature t-shirt.
No, we're not making that. It's not merch.
It's gotta be merch.
We're not selling that. No.
Oh,
No one would ever buy that.
You know what, though? I reckon people actually would, as like a joke. Get it for the mate or something.
What we should
I'd
do
buy it for
is
my
we
mate.
should do a whole range of, so it's like on a t-shirt, a vest, swimwear, perhaps. Would be...
No, we'll do a whole
Speedos.
range of
On the
merch.
bottom of some Speedos.
Oh no. There'll be a whole range of things, and it'd be call it like things you don't want on a t-shirt, and it'd be quotes like Nazi by
pirates.
nature, and there'll be nonce pirates.
Do you ever realise that you're gonna have to apologise for something in 5 years, like on Twitter?
No.
You know, 'cause
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. If
When we
any of
suddenly
us
get
become
cancelled
like,
for this episode.
right, if any of us become like really famous or whatever, right? If you, the viewer, are here in like 10 years trying to find something dodgy on all of us, just stop. Stop what you're doing, because
That makes it
you've
sound
not
like you got
made
something
it.
to hide.
But future me has, or future Sam, or future Jacob, or future Amelia. So stop what you're doing and watch something else.
No.
That's all I
Don't
have to
ruin
say.
us.
Oh.
Oh man, I've just pissed them off. They're gonna want to do it even more now, aren't they?
I'm stopping the episode. Bye.
Bye.